Let's see. Hello, hello, hello. There we go. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. And I'm needing it to be this way. I don't know. Is that the right way? We'll find out in a second. Yeah, that's the right way. There we go. One more. I need to be center. Hello. Hi, folks. Happy birthday. No, wrong one. Happy Monday. My clock is completely wrong. It says it's 2:21. It's not. Yeah. I don't know about you folks, but I am freaking tired. I'm just feeling tired in general with life. I don't know what's going on. Just feeling whooped. Probably need a vacation. Can't go anywhere, which is fun. If you're just tuning in, welcome to Live at 5 with Michael Bach. Yay! It's another Live at 5. Glad you could be here. Thanks so much for tuning in for Live at 5 with Michael Bach. I am thrilled that you could be here. Do remember, say hello in the hey, Astrium. Moira's here. Hello, Moira. If you're new to Live at 5, feel free, just tell me who you are, where you're from. Drop it down in the chat or comments or whatever it is. I'd love to know where you're from, who you are. And also, if there's anything you want to ask me about around LGBTQ2 plus inclusion, around diversity and inclusion generally, thank you. Thanks, Astrium. I am so used to saying LGBTQ2 plus that I can say it without breathing. It's just flies off my tongue. Thank you. I appreciate the applause. Yes. It's not easy, right? Like it is very difficult to say it. So welcome, Moira. Welcome, Starlene. I see you. It's so good to see people connecting. I'm so desperate to be in person with human beings. I feel like I'm just gonna go out and I'm gonna have my first speaking gig in public, and I'm just gonna walk around like licking people. I'm just gonna human contact. I have been denied human contact for so long that I am in need of human contact. That's partially why I think I'm a little private. I haven't had a sip of this. But yeah, I just feel like I need a vacation, but I can't go anywhere. I wanted to talk about how queer is your brand. Before I do that, if you don't already, follow me on the social medias. I am at the Michael Bach. And also remember, I have a new book, Alphabet Soup, the quintessential guide to LGBTQ2 plus inclusion, will be available. It's not available now. Don't get excited. It's not available. It'll be available on March the 29th, 2022. Just in time for International Trans Day of Visibility. And but you can go to alphabetsoup.lgbt. That's alphabetsoup.lgbt and find out more about it. And in fact, we've got this awesome crowdfunding campaign going on right now, and you can learn all about it at alphabetsoup.lgbt. We're giving away some swag, some really fun Alphabet Soup swag. So check it out if you're interested. You can find the stuff there. And if you haven't already done so, tell me who you are and where you're from, because I'd love to know. Today on Live at 5. How queer is your brand? this is one of these questions we start to ask. It's interesting. So June, of course, the rainbow explosion. Every company's logo changes to be a rainbow something. That's lovely. It's their way of saying, hey, we're queer friendly, we love you. But what happens on July 1st? You guessed it, all them rainbows go away. And I get it, that there are competing priorities. There's competition, right? So we, as a queer community, we can't have every month. I mean, we have the whole alphabet and all colors, so we have to be a little sherry. We can't, totally take it all over. But at the same time, as I've said to I don't know how many countless employers, I am still gay in July. I am still gay almost every day of the year. I mean, I take the high holidays off for what are obvious reasons. But we have this situation where companies are like, happy Pride, happy Pride. And then it shuts off. Like it, and we don't hear much, if anything, from these companies on LGBT inclusion for the rest of the year. Not to mention the fact that Pride festivals in North America start in April and go till November. So the question is, how queer is your brand? And I talk about this in the new book, Alphabet Soup, the quintessential guide to LGBTQ2+ inclusion. But you have to ask, how queer is your brand? How LGBTQ2+ friendly is your brand? And the best way to do this is to Google. Because, of course, you have to go where the people go. This is what we do. We Google. And you put in your company name, your organization name, whoever whether it's we're talking about people you work for, or we're talking about organizations that you volunteer for. Oh, I miss people. Brendan, Nova Scotian, Stephen Collingwood, Dev in Toronto. Hello, all. So train of thought. Like, this is going to be, Michael's on a little moment. Michael's live. Michael is not recorded today. So you Google your organization name. Maybe you're the Girl Guides. And then you Google Girl Guides Canada and LGBT or LGBTQ2. Pick your initialism, whichever you prefer. And see what comes up. And truth be told, you're probably going to find one of three things. The good news scenario is you're going to find really good stories. Like, maybe you were named to the Corporate Equality Index from the Human Rights Campaign, and maybe you've got, press releases out there. That's good, right? Because it's not a Pride-related event. Or maybe you're like, I think it's Boston Consulting Group, if I'm remembering correctly. I'm going to check that. Why don't you Google with me? Let's Google Boston Consulting Group LGBT. Let's see. I got a boo-boo on my finger. I cut my finger off. It's a long story. Yeah, so if I share my screen, here, I'll show you. Look at me, I'm pretty fancy. Let's share my screen. So you see that a number of things come out right up. So first of all, we got Pride at BCG, which is their employee resource group. Then you've got a page here, new LGBTQ workforce has arrived. Inclusion culture must follow. So there's an article, time for change, LGBTQ discrimination and underrepresentation at work. So immediately you've got some good stuff. And there's our commitment to DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And you can see it, affinity networks for gender and LGBTQ identities. So this is a good thing, right? Because you just, and I'm going to stop sharing that. You Google and you find a good message. So if I'm thinking of applying for a job at Boston Consulting Group, then I look at that and I'm like, oh, hey, Chima. Chima's joined us. Hey, Chima. You look at that and you're like, fantastic. This is the good news story. This is the positive message. Option number 2 is you Google it and you find bad stuff. So maybe you've been involved in a court case. Maybe you've been involved in a human rights complaint. Who knows what you might have been involved in, that is the bad news story. And there's a couple, I talked about them in the book, so I'm not going to give the whole thing away, but there's a couple of them that I talk about in the book that are really bad news stories around companies that have actively fought. Sorry, I was changing the resolution because it's a bit slow. Have actively fought against LGBTQ2+ inclusion. And that can haunt you for a very long time, like Target, which in 2010, their CEO made a donation to a very Republican anti-LGBT organization. And the consequence was that they lost partnerships. It was a big disaster and it haunted them for a long time. Now, if you Google Target and LGBT, it's a good news story because they've really been working on it, but it takes a long time to erase that blemish. More than likely, what you'll find is nothing. I don't know how many organizations I've done this for, and I just find nothing. Because they don't have mention of LGBTQ2+ on their website. They don't have it on their careers page. They've never won any awards. They don't have an employee resource group. The reality is, all you need to do is, if you have a diversity and inclusion page on your website, which in this day and age you really should, you just need to include mention of LGBTQ2+ peoples in that page and it'll come up. You just have to have one sentence, one small paragraph that speaks to inclusion of LGBTQ2+ peoples. That's all you need. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It doesn't have to be, rainbow flags and unicorns and all that thing. But the reality is that I, as an LGBTQ2+ person, and I would say largely most LGBTQ2+ people do this, they look for a sign. We look for a sign that says, this is a safe space. This is a place where I am not going to face homophobia, biphobia, transphobia, where I'm going to be treated with respect, where I can talk about my same-sex partner, where I can, talk about my life, where I can talk about my gender, and I will be safe. And if I find nothing, I'm left to guess. And that is not a good thing. I should not be wondering if it's an LGBTQ2+ inclusive workplace. I should know. You should want to tell me. Because statistically, we make up somewhere around 10% of the population. But there was a recent study that showed that people in the Gen Z generation, so under 25, 30% of that generation identifies as LGBTQ2+ in some way, shape, or form. So we're seeing a shift in that number. And I think, based on what I'm seeing around from that study in particular, we may actually see in the next 20 years a massive shift in the number of LGBTQ2 plus people in society because younger people are more open. They're more willing to talk about it, which means they're also looking at your brand and determining if they want to work for you, and because they want to be safe. They want to know that they're going to be safe. So, food for thought, something you should think about. How queer is your brand? Take a look, Google, find out, because you may find out things you are not necessarily pleased about. Happy to answer any questions if anyone has them. You can drop them down in the chat box. Let me know what you're thinking about around LGBTQ2 plus inclusion. If you're not already following me, check me out. I'm at the Michael Bach. I realize you're on social media right now watching me, so you're probably following me. But if you're not following me, or if your mother's not following me, just follow me at the Michael Bach. Also, check out my book, my new book, Alphabet Soup, The Quintessential Guide to LGBTQ2 plus Inclusion, available March 29th. And you can find out more by going to alphabetsoup.lgbt, because we have this really fun crowdfunding campaign going on, and you can get some awesome swag. We got coffee mugs and magnets and bookmarks and all sorts of things. And you can also get a copy of my new book, my current book, not new book, current book. I should make a list of this stuff. Not really. This is, if you watch my Monday morning musings every Monday on YouTube or Facebook or other places, you will see what appears to be a really well put together individual. That's because I'm edited. I'm not right now. And I'm sure people are worried. So follow me, check it out, alphabetsoup.lgbt. And that's it. That's all I have to talk about today. That's good. I hope you have a fantastic week. I'm coming back Thursday. Thursday. I have to look at my talk sheet. Thursday, July 15th, 2 days from now. We're going to be talking about the importance of safe space, what it is, why it's important. So come and check me out live at 5 on Thursday, July 15th, always 5 o'clock Eastern. I blither on, I have a glass of wine. Join me. And that's it. Have a fantastic day. Have a fantastic evening. And I will see you on Thursday for another episode of Live at 5. Bye, y'all.